Hopefulness day 10. It is like 9:15 at night. Had a rough night last night. I need to turn off something on my computer real quick. Hold on. I had to turn off Discord because I just stopped connecting to the internet so that I could record this. Banana bread turned out pretty good. Relatively inexpensive ingredients overall. I've still got like just about roughly half, maybe a little bit less than half of the coconut oil left. So that's cool. Heater just decided to kick on. I was good enough and ready to eat in like a day. Just like last time. Good old pieces. Got a lot to clean up. I don't know how much I'm going to do today. I haven't even cleaned up since the last time I cooked a banana bread. Like, I did clean up a couple of things just so I could make this last banana bread, but beyond that, I haven't done anything. The case in point is the vessel in which I used to make said banana bread. Now, hot. Yeah, I didn't have a good night last night because I had this headache that just wouldn't go away. It probably had something to do with the fact that I had forgotten to brush my teeth for like a night at least. I don't know, maybe two. I'm not sure. And who knows? Maybe you got a little bit of bacteria or something up in there. I'm not sure. Oops. All I know is that I even have my my Xbox 360 controller that I bought specifically so that I could use on PC games of certain types. And there's a program that I downloaded some time ago that allows me to test various functions of the controller, one of which is the ability to turn on the vibration on both sides of the controller. One's like a super fast vibration, one's super slow. So high frequency, low frequency, and all that. It helps for, various immersion and all that stuff. And I use it almost entirely. The first time I actually downloaded that program was back when I was living in Pasadena in my first place, when I was living in the living room. And there was like a couple of days in a row when I went to go to the grocery store and I was getting a lot of stuff. And part of it was like milk, and maybe it was like I think beer and some other stuff too. But it was a lot of weight. It was really heavy. And in doing so, I kind of fucked my hand up a bit and it wasn't feeling right. So I had downloaded it so I could basically massage it. And it worked out really well. I also found out that the way that I was holding the bag was stupid too, so there's also that. So I was rubbing it up against my head so that I could feel better, and it kind of worked, but it didn't do that great. And I probably had maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours of sleep. That's about it. And it kind of like just, because I couldn't go to sleep, I couldn't fall back asleep because the pain was just annoying, or just painful. So that was problematic. And it's not like I could think of anything to do. And I decided, well, I'm not going to do the whole car thing today. So I'll just say screw that and wait till next week. Well, next week is St. Patrick's Day. And I'm like, I think I'll wait another week. Because the last thing I want to do is go out and get a car the night of St. Patrick's Day for a couple of days. So, and then towards the end of the month, I'll have a better understanding of the finances and other factors, hopefully. So we'll see. Just gonna wait on that. But in the meantime, I was like, I did apply for like 2 jobs that I found. And then spent pretty much the rest of the day just looking around on EverQuest. I mean, not really doing much, really. It was only until the last couple of hours when I was doing anything that was remotely, like, heavy lifting, if you will. And that was when we went and to this in-game dungeon to go get some loot for as many people as possible. We do this little lottery called Pick 3. And what you do is that you get 3 options for items. And I mean, like, the 3 options are not exactly limited per se, but so like the very first option you can get, you can choose to get some kind of chest piece item. So if it drops, you get a chance to roll for that piece. And then if you win the roll, you get the piece. And it's, they call it a major, of course. And then in the second and third slots, you can do other pieces. Like, okay, so in the second slot, you have the option for legs. Well, leg pieces are also pretty valuable, but they're not like the super duper valuables, kind of like the chest in a way. Sometimes depends on the way you're looking at it. And so if you want to get a leg piece, you can get that. And then you can also determine, do you want a chainmail piece, or do you want a leather piece, or do you want a plate piece, or do you want a cloth piece? And so you go in and, you choose your 3 items. And I chose a chainmail chest, a leather arm, or rather, the second one was cloth pants, and then the last one was the leather arms. And the reason for that is because I want to get, I have a rogue character that I'm leveling up. It's getting really close to level 55, max level 60. And in my guild, you can start raiding on a character if they're level 55 plus. And I was like, alright, well, let's try to see if I can get the rogue piece. And I mean, even if it doesn't drop, you don't have a choice of rolling all this stuff unless nobody chose that specific item when it drops, and then it becomes an open roll, which everybody gets to roll on. And that happened a couple of times tonight. The very last piece just happened to be the chain chest piece, and I just happened to win it. That's kind of nice. But the thing is like, it's not just just a piece that you can just equip. It's part of a quest line that's available. And each of these items requires a specific triplet set, if you will, of gems. So, and unfortunately the chest piece that I won requires some of the hardest to find gem pieces that are also really expensive. And in order for me to get this taken care of, I basically have to pay like 10,000 platinum. Which I don't have. But it's there, and so I can look into that. I can look forward to that in the future once the money does kind of roll in. The clock legs, they were from my necromancer because they're pretty much the last piece I need for him. And then the leather arms were for my monk because that's the last piece I need for him. But I also need leather arms for my druid, but you can't do it twice, so I didn't do it. So I've just got to make that decision when the time comes. That's whatever. I want to pretty much stop cleaning now. Well, I do have a couple more utensils I should be able to clean up. Because there was one thing while I was in the process of doing all this, when I was cooking and stuff yesterday, I was like, I'm running out of fucking utensils. So let's not do that. And just like any other day, when I'm really tired, I got to eating more than I usually do. And I'm still going to eat some more. We're probably going to end up going to bed at a relatively early time tonight. I don't know. Like I said, I mean, it's encroaching on 9:30 p.m. I might go to bed at midnight. I don't know. I'm not like sleepy tired. That's the problem. I'm just kind of like miserable tired, if you will. That's what I feel like right now. I feel miserable. And that stupid headache. And I was thinking about not only that, but like other factors in my life, and I was like, it was while I was taking a shower. I was like, a person like me, and not just me, but anybody who's like me, who has a hard time just dealing with daily life, shouldn't need a job. I shouldn't, really. Like, me having a job doesn't do me any favors, and it usually makes life worse. Sometimes I'm lucky, and, maybe I get a little bit extra money or something, but I have not been in any real position with any job where there's a sense of stability, where there's a sense of longevity, that there's a sense of empowerment, if you will, of potential for increased wages or for better hours, or any kind of benefit. I mean, I'm 40 fucking years old. Is it not enough information at this point to say, hey, maybe this man's broken just enough that he should not be required to work? At least not until he gets his life in some kind of objectively improved order, where being able to do the daily stuff of life, of, cooking and cleaning, and fuck, man, think about it this way. If a person was unable to wipe their own ass, you would want to help them, right? Makes sense? This person is incapable of doing something so basic as cleaning themselves. Okay? Bear with me. Need some water. No, I haven't completely cleaned everything. Because I get extremely, extremely irritated at just the process of cleaning after mere minutes of it sometimes. If a person has that much trouble doing something basic, you want to help them. You want to give them something. You're first of all, you're going to make some kind of proclamation that they are disabled. They have a disability that prevents them from doing that thing. Now, this might seem, I don't know, self-aggrandizing or some bullshit, I don't know what, but I don't know if you heard of most of that, but
It's not to make myself out to be a victim of anything. It's to try to understand something. While I am, yes, capable of wiping my own ass, if you will, in a sort of metaphorical sense, I have a hard time, quote unquote, wiping my ass when it comes to the typical day-to-day stuff. Today's the first day I took a shower in like 3 days. I like taking showers. That's the weird part. But I somehow, for whatever reason, can't force myself to take a shower sometimes. Again, it's not like I don't like them. Like, what do I have to do to show that I'm not right? That there's something wrong with me? To what degree do I have to showcase? I mean, you call me a high-functioning disabled person. It doesn't matter. The thing is that when it comes to the demands of our society, if you look at my life, if you look at my past, if you look at the stuff I've struggled with when it comes to school of all kinds, when it comes to trying to get a job of any type, in any way, and the ability to assess myself, to then sell myself to others, I fall flat every time. Now, here's what I'm thinking, okay? Because it's not just about give me a free ride. It's about giving me my necessities so they don't have to fight not only for those, but also for the stuff I have a hard enough time doing. And then allowing me to work on those things that I have a hard time doing and not just have to go to work too. So work on the day-to-day stuff. Work on the stuff that should be simple, should be easy, but I don't have the mental fortitude to handle it all. Well, we don't like people, ideally, especially in practice, we don't really like it when people multitask. They put that on job listings and shit because they want to pay you less money, basically, for the amount of work you're going to have to do. But generally speaking, we don't want people to stretch themselves too thin. And if you are unable to effectively and successfully do the day-to-day, everyday human shit that doesn't incorporate doing a job, you're already stretched too thin. Why would you have a fucking job in the process? That's stretching you, that's burning both ends of the candle. Throwing on an accelerant. It's not just unwise. It's a guaranteed recipe for failure. Just straight up. I think I'll go ahead and call the video that. Guaranteed recipe for failure. You know, the sad thing is that I know that I would have a chance at bettering my life. Not even just, I know I would do it. I've done it before. All I would need is $2,000 a month. That's it. $2,000 a month right now would provide me with everything I need. And if I knew that that was what was happening, didn't have to work for it. Didn't have to work to survive, to work to live, to earn being alive. It's a ridiculous concept. I could improve my life. I know I would. It would be hard at first. I'd have a hard time. I mean, shit, I didn't even want to do this video. It's the only thing I've been consistent at for this long in a while. Fucking chicken is so good. And it's even a little on the dry side just because it's been sitting in the fridge for a couple days, but I don't give a fuck. Delicious. I mean, I just took this bad boy and cooked some chicken in it. I'm considering getting a cookie sheet, big ass bacon tray, so I can do like 8 at a time, no big deal. And especially because they're so cheap, they're under $1 a piece. You know, you get 8 of them, and they're all pretty decent size, at least in the ones that I do try to buy. But, again, consistency, trying not to stretch myself thin, all this stuff. It's like, I'm stretching myself thin on the basics. I'm suffering through the basics of everyday life. There are days where I have forgotten to do my fucking laundry. And I get 1 day a week. So I'm fucked, right? Sure, I could beg. I could try to take responsibility for it if I can. It's whatever. It'd be better if I had a little bit more free reign over that, but it's whatever. You know, I gotta work within certain constraints. And I'm afraid that if I do get a job, not only am I not going to have a life, but I'm not going to be able to keep up with the day-to-day. That it's just going to get worse. That the things that I already have trouble with, keeping things organized, keeping things clean, etc., are just going to get worse. And then I'm going to start doing stuff like buying more fast food, or I'm going to start buying more microwavable food, or whatever it is. When I didn't have a job, and I had $10,000, I'd moved into the apartment in Pasadena when I was paying $300 a month, and I was living in the living room. Cartilage. I started eating better. I was riding my bike more often. Mostly just to like the store and stuff, but still. I made an effort to shop around because I had the bike. And because the stores weren't too awful far away. Not like out here where like one grocery store's a mile away and the next one's like 4. Because it's South Central LA. It's more like the northern end of it, but still. You know, there's a liquor store right across the street, and then there's like a corner store type thing down the street, and then there's like another one up the street somewhere, and those are all before the store. But I'm getting sidetracked. The idea is that I would want somebody who is like me to not need a job. In fact, it would be nice if nobody needed a job, really. You know. I feel like I need those accommodations beyond what most employers will have, because I don't think most employers want somebody like me. You know, there's a reason why I have a shitty credit score, why I haven't been able to complete college, why I've never really had a job of anything meritable. It's always effectively been some kind of, you know, minimum wage job or something relatively similar. I've been working on and off for 24 years. And I haven't had a job that is even remotely long-lasting, that paid significantly more than minimum wage, i.e., at least twice as much. In fact, I've never had a job that paid more than twice, except for back when I lived in Texas, and it was early. Actually, no, it still wasn't even twice that. When I started working at the neighborhood market, I was making $10 an hour. Minimum wage was $5.15. It lasted 6 months there. It was because of the pay. It was because of some of the people that I had to work with. These two brothers had started working there some 3 or 4 months after I started work. Because I was working there before the store opened. They show up a month or two after the store opens. Think they know all this shit. Treat me like crap. Gets to the point where I'm like, either fire them or I quit. They're like, well, why don't you work at the night shift? I'm like, all right, whatever. I don't get a pay raise for working the night shift, which is red flag number 1. Well, number 2 technically. Those two guys being, you know, mistreating and all that shit, and not getting any kind of discipline. That was red flag number 1. Not getting a pay raise, night shift. Red flag number 2. Red flag number 3 was the super lazy, accusatory, racist fucking boss. I was one of the only 2 white dudes that was there. The other white dude that was there had some kind of mental handicap that they made fun of him for, and then they dragged me in on it. And this is Texas, so in the early 2000s. In white suburbia. So that should maybe be enough information about the situation. So after dealing with that crap enough and having a day where I literally slept for like 36 fucking... I slept through 2 shifts. Okay? I was working overnights. I was dealing with some severe depression because my stepdad died when I was 16 and it still hadn't gone away. I was living with my grandmother because my mother couldn't handle me. Even though she was the one that started the fight that caused the whole situation in the first place, that ended up having us splitting up and her kicking me out of the fucking house. Never had a stable life. It's surprising that even for brief moments I'm able to create stability. But I was really tired one day. Couldn't really sleep though. I kept trying to go back to sleep and stuff, and then I was like, alright, I got like an hour before work, before I have to get up for work or whatever. I'll just take a nap. And then I sleep for 36 fucking hours. I just fucking knocked out. Nothing. And coincidentally, that was also when my grandmother wasn't in town. She was in like Florida or something. But because she wasn't there to wake me up either, so... Because she would often wake me up if I hadn't left the house by a certain time or if I wasn't up and about. But not too long after that is when I decided to quit. Just stop going. I don't really know how to finish this. So have fun.